Welcome to the deep dive. Sometimes the simplest things, the things we see every day in our homes, they hide some surprisingly complex choices. Today, we're taking a deep plunge into something many of us probably just, well, see as a bathroom fixture. The humble heated towel rail.
Right, just something to hang a towel on, maybe.
Exactly.
Hmm.
But as we're about to find out, it's actually way more than that. It's sort of moved beyond just being useful.
Yeah, it's become a bit of an accessible luxury, hasn't it? Plus, great for hygiene, stopping mold, that kind of thing.
Even heating the room sometimes can really elevate that daily routine.
Definitely. But while that warm towel dream sounds simple, actually picking the right one, the market can feel, well, a bit overwhelming.
I bet.
So our mission today is really to break down the key things you need to think about selection, ownership, give you the insights so you can make a really confident, informed choice.
Okay, let's dive right in then. The absolute first thing, the foundational choice. How do these things actually heat up? Central heating, electric, and then this dual fuel option.
Yeah, that's the starting point. It really boils down to how they connect with your home system.
Yep.
So central heating, or hydronic, that's probably the most common setup in the UK. It taps into your existing boiler.
Right, so it uses gas, generally cheaper to run.
Generally, yes, cost-effective to run. But here's the kicker. It only works when your main central heating is actually on.
So no warm towels on a cool summer morning unless you fire up the whole system.
Precisely. That's the big drawback for many. And installation usually needs a qualified plumber, can be a bit more involved.
Gotcha. Then there's electric.
Electric models give you total independence. Use them anytime, year-round, doesn't matter if the heating's on or off.
Okay, that sounds convenient. Installation.
Often simply, you might get an electrician to hardwire it in, or some are even plug-in, kind of DIY. The trade-off, though.
Let me guess. Running costs.
You got it. Electricity is typically more expensive per hour than gas, so higher running costs there.
Right, that no warm towels in summer point is huge then. You
Yeah.
really have to think year-round. So this dual fuel, best of both worlds.
That's the idea. It's the hybrid. It combines both systems.
How does that work in practice?
You basically get the cheaper gas heating in the winter when your main system's running, and then you flick a switch, use the electric element in the summer for just the towel rail. Maximum flexibility.
Okay, but there must be a catch.
Well, yeah. Higher upfront costs to buy the unit itself. And installation is the most complex because you need both a plumber for the water side and an electrician for the electrical side.
Double the tradespeople.
Potentially, yes. But for some people, that flexibility could mean the lowest overall lifetime running costs because you're always using the most efficient fuel source for the season.
Okay, power source decided. Next big question. How much heat are we actually getting? You mentioned BTUs, British thermal units, but there's a twist.
A big one. And this trips people up. First, is the rail just for warming towels, or do you need it to actually heat the bathroom? Many standard rails have quite low BTU outputs, really only enough for towels.
Right, so not a primary heat source usually.
Often not. But here's the crucial bit, the hidden detail. The industry standard for quoting BTU figures, it shifted. It used to be based on something called delta T60. Now it's delta T50.
Okay, delta T what now? What does that mean in real terms?
It means that the heat output quoted at delta T50 is roughly 22% lower than the same radiator would be if quoted at the older delta T60 standard.
Wow, 22%.
Yeah.
So you're comparing two rails. You absolutely have to make sure they're using the same delta T rating or you're not comparing like for like at all.
Exactly. Apples to apples is essential. And another quick tip here, a real aha moment. Whatever BTU you calculate you need for the room,
Yeah.
add an extra 15, maybe 20% on top. Why? Damp towels. They soak up a surprising amount of heat. You need that buffer.
Good point. Easy to forget the towels themselves.
Okay.
Okay, now for something that sounds, well, counterintuitive, materials and finish, you'd think shiny is good, right? But maybe not for heat.
It's fascinating, isn't it? Now, materials like stainless steel are great, super durable, resist corrosion. Aluminium is fantastic too, heats up incredibly fast, very lightweight.
Okay. But chrome. Everyone loves chrome.
They do. It looks sleek, matches taps, very popular aesthetically. However, That shiny reflective chrome surface has what's called low surface emissivity,
Low surface emissivity.
meaning it's actually quite poor at radiating heat outwards into the room. All that shine kind of holds the heat in rather than letting it out effectively.
Get out. So the shine works against the heating. That's genuinely surprising.
It is. It can reduce the heat output of a chrome-plated rail by maybe 20, even 30% compared to the exact same rail with a painted finish like white or a powder-coated one, say anthracite or matte black.
So those duller, non-reflective finishes are actually better heat emitters.
Far better. Which means to get the same amount of warmth into your bathroom, you might need a physically larger and probably more expensive chrome rail than you would if you chose, say, a white one.
Mind blown. Okay, so
Yeah.
thinking about day-to-day use and the budget, controls. What's available from basic to smart tech?
Yeah, controls have evolved a lot. For the central heating ones, the hydronic rails, you've gone from basic on-off valves to thermostatic radiator valves, TRVs, which give you temperature control.
Right, the ones with the numbers on.
Exactly. And now you can even get smart TRVs you control with an app or your voice assistant. For electric rails, they often have built-in thermostats, timers are common, and some have smart features like open window detection, so they switch off automatically if you air the room.
And all these controls, they tie back into efficiency and costs, presumably?
Directly. Better control means less wasted energy, lower bills. And this leads us to a really key concept, total cost of ownership, or TCO.
Okay, TCO. More than just the price tag.
Much more. You have to factor in the purchase price, yes, but also the installation costs, which we've seen can vary hugely depending on the type and the long-term running costs based on your energy prices and how you use it.
So that cheap electric rail might end up costing more over 5 years than the pricier dual fuel one?
It absolutely could. You really need to look at the whole picture, not just that initial sticker shock.
Makes total sense.
Okay.
Okay, one last crucial area. Safety. Installing these things, especially electric or dual fuel, it's not just a casual DIY job, right?
Oh, absolutely not. Safety is paramount, and it's heavily regulated in the UK. We're talking Part P of the building regulations for any electrical work in bathrooms.
Part P, right. And bathroom zones, I've heard of those.
Yes, crucial concept. Bathrooms are divided into zones based on their proximity to water, the bath, the shower, the sink. Each zone has a minimum IP rating, that's ingress protection.
Against water and dust.
Exactly. It dictates how water-resistant an electrical fitting needs to be in that specific zone. For example, Zone 1, right above the bath or in the shower area, needs at least an IPX4 rating, often higher. You can't just put any electrical appliance anywhere.
So getting it wrong is dangerous and, well, illegal.
Potentially very dangerous and certainly non-compliant, which is why professional installation is essential. You need a gas-safe, registered engineer for anything involving the central heating system, the hydronic or dual fuel connection,
Gas safe.
and a qualified Part P registered electrician for any hardwired electric or the electrical side of a dual fuel installation. It's not just for safety, it's for compliance, for your home insurance. It's non-negotiable, really.
Okay, good to know. So pulling this all together, choosing the perfect heated towel rail isn't just grabbing one off the shelf. It's this real balancing act, isn't it? Technical stuff, looks, and that long-term value.
It really is. And maybe a final thought for you to consider. When you're picturing your ideal bathroom, challenge your assumptions a little.
How so?
Well, is the most common choice, like that standard ladder chrome rail, actually the best for your specific needs? Maybe think outside the box. Could a vertical rail, for instance, dry towels more efficiently because of how they hang?
Interesting idea.
Or could choosing a specific finish, maybe that matte black we talked about, actually give you significantly more heat for your money than the shiny chrome you initially pictured? It's about thinking beyond just the surface look and considering how these details, these insights we've discussed, can genuinely optimize your bathroom, your own little sanctuary.